Hey everybody, it's Janice with Creating to Chaos. I'm going to use the same Amazon bag that I used for the snowman that I made the other day. If you missed that video, you want to go through my videos and find it. I had this pumpkin cutout that I got at Target a long time ago. I'm just going to use that as a pattern. I'm not going to use it for the project. I'm sure you have a piece of decor or something shaped like a pumpkin, or you could print one out and lay it on and use it as a pattern. So I'm just using that for the pattern, tracing it out. Now I'm going to just cut it out. And I'm doing it through both layers, just like I did with the snowman. Once I have it cut out, I'm going to turn it inside out so that the lines from the package aren't on the front. Then I'm going to start gluing it together. So I'm just going to go around the edges, just like I did with the snowman. And I'm going to do that all the way around, and I'm going to leave the bottom open. So just around all of the edges and get that all glued. And I'm just going to leave a little bit of the bottom still open for later. Once I have that all cut out and glued, I am going to lay down my paint mat, and then I am going to start painting it. I'm going to paint it with the color Light Buttermilk. This color doesn't have to go all the way to the edges if you don't want to. It's totally up to you, but I wanted it in the at least very center, so I just went across the whole thing because it only took a couple of seconds. So once I have that all painted, I'm going to take some Mod Podge and I'm going to cover the front with Mod Podge. And I started using a foam brush, but it just didn't work the same on the paper. So I'm going to have that all covered, and then I'm going to let that fully dry. Once I have that fully dry, I'm going to take this napkin, and this is one that I used for a shelf sitter a while ago. I got these on Amazon. They're just vintage style napkins. And I'm just going to use my water pen to cut it out and get rid of all of the straight edges. So I'm just kind of going around, putting the water pen on there, and then pulling that off. I got the water pen at Hobby Lobby. They also have them at Dollar Tree. And again, I'm just feathering all of the edges all the way around the napkin. Just put the water pen down. I just kind of use my fingernail to feather the edges around so that it's not just straight lines. Once I have all the edges finished, I'm going to lay that right in the center of my pumpkin. And then I'm going to take a piece of parchment paper. I'm going to lay that over, and then I'm going to use my iron and just iron that right onto the front. Making sure that it's all stuck very well. And then I'm just going to take my water pen and get rid of any of the excess that hung over the bottom half of the pumpkin. Just making sure I get all of those edges so that everything is nice and clean. Once I reach that point, I'm going to take some orange paint, and this is the color Burnt Orange. And I'm just going to use my sponge dauber and go around the edges. And I went kind of onto the napkin a little bit. I'm just covering up that white and getting some on the edge of the napkin. I'm going to go all the way around the whole entire napkin. I grabbed a smaller pouncer to get in between the napkin and the stem. I'm just making sure I get that very covered. I did along the bottom edge as well. And I did 2 coats doing this. Once I have that all painted, I am going to take some antique wax. I'm going to use that on the stem. And then I'm also going to go over the orange with the antique wax as well. I get my antique wax at Hobby Lobby and just go all the way around. You want to go up to the edge of the napkin a little bit over, kind of giving it that aged antique look. I'm just going to do this all the way around. And I kind of went slow because I didn't want to go all the way onto the napkin. I didn't want to change the way that the napkin looked on the middle. So I'm just kind of going around very slowly, antiquing the whole thing, and just dabbing over and over and over again till I got the look that I wanted. And that was exactly what I was going for. I'm going to push the center of it open now through that hole. I ended up using a paintbrush to get in there. There was still some glue from the sticker from the shipping label, so I just used the paintbrush handle to push that all apart. Now I'm going to take some fiberfill and I'm going to fill this up, and I'm going to use that paintbrush also to push that in. And I'm just going to keep stuffing it until I get it as stuffed as I want. I'm making sure that I get some all the way up into the stem and to the sides. I'm just going to keep filling that up until I get it to where I want it. I didn't want it to be too fat, but I wanted it to be plump enough. And as you can see, I'm kind of pushing it into the stem. Then smoothing it all out. And then I'm going to take some hot glue, and then I'm going to glue that bottom shut. And hold that until it seals. And then get any little areas that seem to pop back open. And I went all the way around and checked the whole thing to make sure that I got all of the little areas that might have popped open from it being pushed so hard with the fiberfill. And look at how cute this is already. Next, I'm going to take a piece of rusty wire. And I'm just going to cut a good sized length of that. And then I'm going to put it through one side and then through the other and make a hanger. And I ended up taking an X-Acto knife and poking a hole where I wanted the wire to go. I'm going to push that in, and then I'm going to twist that around. And I'm just going to use a paintbrush handle for that. And I'm just going to wrap that wire around it and then push down all the little twirls to make it so that it doesn't push back through. I'm going to put a hole through the other side. I'm going to push my wire through for a second just to make sure that it's going to go through. And then I'm going to take a paintbrush and I'm going to start wrapping the wire around it because I want the hanger to be curly. So I'm just going to wrap all the wire around till I get it to the other side. And then I'm going to push that wire through, and then I'm going to repeat the same process. Once I get it pushed through, get it to where I want, I'm going to trim off some of the excess and then use a paintbrush to twirl that around as well. And then just push those twirls down. And now you have a super cute little rusty hanger. Next, I'm going to take some raffia. I made it into a bow. I got this raffia at Hobby Lobby. It's a like burgundy raffia, an orange, and a yellow. And I'm going to hold that right up at the top. And then I'm going to trim off the excess on the bottom. So the tails, trim those up. And I kind of left them long, but then I decided to change them a little bit and cut them a little bit more. So I'm just letting that dry. And then I trim those tails again. And look at how cute it is. Next, I'm going to take a rusty bell and safety pin, and I'm going to push it through the center of that raffia bow. And then I'm going to add that bell right to that. And that is it. This project is finished. I think this turned out so super cute, and I can't believe it's just an Amazon bag. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this project. I hope it inspires you to make one. And as always, don't forget to spread the chaos.